Hi, I'm Jenny Hayden. I've been a professional interviewer now for about 12 years. I just wanted to talk to you a bit about the kind of key points or key 5 things I would do if I was preparing for an interview for the first time. So I guess really the very first thing is to look at your application. So that's the first thing you're going to do when applying for a job. You need to really focus on what you're sending in, because you think that's the first thing that an interviewer or a recruiter is going to see is your CV. So when you're doing it, think about the really basic things. So think about spell checking it, thinking about grammar checking it. You'd be surprised how many people don't do that, and as a recruiter you just won't even get through the door with a CV that's not appropriate. Look at the formatting, and that especially applies to the kind of document you use. So for example, if you're going to use one of the new sources of open source documents, for example, it may be that the company you're sending it to can't open it. Again, it's likely that it'll just get thrown away and you won't even get a foot in the door. When you're looking at how you're communicating with these businesses, you really need to think about basic things such as your email address. Nobody wants to see a ridiculous email address that doesn't reflect your level of professionalism. So use what you want for dealing with your friends, but have something simple like your name for dealing with any professional organisations. Okay? All of these things that I'm saying apply to the cover letter as well. When you send in your CV, it's likely to be a couple of pages long. It's a good idea to send a short cover note with that as well. Don't do what many people do, which is to rewrite your CV again in one page, but just come up with the key points. A little bit about yourself. What do you want out of life? What do you want out of the job? And why would you be good for the job that you're sending the cover note in for? Another point just on both of those, when you're looking at your cover letter or your CV, read the job description that you're applying for and tailor them. It's amazing the amount of people I see who send in the same job description and cover note for every single job, and often it doesn't even look like they're applying for the one that you have advertised. Once you've sent your CV in, follow up. A lot of people will just let the CVs go and then moan when they haven't had any response. I would advise finding out who's dealing with your application and give them a call, find out what's happening. If you get down the process and you're rejected, it's unfortunate and it's not a very nice situation, but find out why. You're well within your rights to know why you weren't successful for that job. And then if the news is happy and you get through to the interview stage, communicate professionally. Email back promptly, use good English in your emails, return calls as requested. Third tip I would say when you get through the interview process is to really find out about that company. Amazing the amount of people who come in and have no idea about the company that they're interviewing for. You'll be on a good standing already if you've just read the website and have an understanding of what that company does. I would be really, really impressed if you've done a deeper level of research. Look at things like the financial statements, try and understand a bit more about the culture of the company, look at what their values are, and then have some really good questions that you can ask your interviewer. They'll be impressed to see that you've actually done that research. Fourth thing I would talk about when preparing for an interview is really understand that job description. You've seen the job description advertised, you've obviously applied for it. Why did you apply for it? What did you think stood out about that job? What would make you the right person to do it? So you need to think about all those things, because you'll get asked about that job description. You'll get asked those kinds of questions. And my last point really is about sort of following on from that. You need to think about why you are the right person for that job. You will get asked all the questions about what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses, and you need to think about those as well, but really have a think in your mind and almost sit down before the interview with a piece of paper and think, here's a job description, what can I do, what can I bring, what have I done in the past that would help with that job, and why am I the right person to do it. So those are my 5 tips for preparing for an interview.